most, but I do a lot. I shoot a shot. I'm coming.
How about that for getting us started tonight? Hello and welcome inside the studios at WTHR here in downtown Indianapolis. I'm Dominic Miranda. Thanks so much for joining us for this pregame Indiana Fever Special ahead of the team's matchup tonight with the Atlanta Dream in the heart of Georgia. We are so excited to once again be your local TV home of the Fever. Tonight's game with the Dream is right here on WTHR. That'll be coming up for you at 7:30 at the conclusion of this show. All right, we're just 2 games through the Fever's 2025 campaign, but it has not lacked intrigue and excitement. The preseason hype most certainly reached a fever pitch. If you like puns, then this is the show for you. And Indiana answered the bell in its very first game of the season, a dominating 35-point win over the Chicago Sky right here at home. Yes, there were some extracurriculars, but let's focus on the basketball. Caitlin Clark, sensational. A triple-double in the season opener. Are you serious? What a way to start the season. Aaliyah Boston was dominant in the post. Couldn't ask for a better way to begin the year. That takes us to just a couple of days ago. A fever dream at Gainbridge Fieldhouse. Atlanta paying a visit to Indiana and coming away with a win. 91-90 your final on Tuesday. It was a thriller, one that saw this Fever team look a bit disjointed. There were a ton of stoppages in this game, reviews, fouls. The Dream went to the free throw line, get this, 32 times in this game, making 25 of them, while the Fever, on the other side of the coin, missed 10 free throws in this one. Caitlin Clark, Kelsey Mitchell, and Aaliyah Boston had 75 of the team's 90 points, just 15 from everybody else. Caitlin Clark after the game.
And it's really hard when you dig yourself a hole like that in this league. Like, it's tough. I thought we had a bad start to the game. I thought we had a bad start to the second half. It felt a little flat. As a group out there on the floor. So, you know, we can't put ourselves in those types of positions. Nothing to get too worked up about. A lot of positives, but also a lot of things we can really get better at.
So that, of course, lends itself nicely to this evening and this matchup. The Fever and Dream back at it for the second time this week. For more on this, we take you out live to Maria Martin, sports anchor for our sister station WXIA. Maria, the Fever are in town. You're in a different arena than you're accustomed to. What's the vibe out there ahead of tip? What's the excitement level? The Fever are in town.
Dominic, the excitement level is at an all-time high. It's insane how many Caitlin Clark jerseys have already entered State Farm Arena here in downtown Atlanta, normally where the Hawks play. And this is the 3rd time in the last 2 years that the Dream have moved inside this venue. They're pulling out all the stops. Look at these T-shirts. It says, pay some respect to women's sports. And not to mention on the T-shirts that the players were wearing in pregame warm-ups, this is also center court tonight. So State Farm Arena looks a little bit different, but it is going to be loud. We are in for a treat. So much excitement around this game. And not to mention Caitlin Clark playing in this one. Of course, you guys are very familiar with that. But Brittany Griner, she's a 10-time WNBA All-Star. She was stopping to sign a ton of autographs. There is so much excitement around this matchup. It's a great step in the right direction for women's sports. And I got to tell you, this is going to be a very loud environment here at State Farm Arena. Dominic, back to you.
I do not doubt it. It was a great matchup on Tuesday, and I suspect it will be the exact same tonight. Thank you so much, Maria Martin, for our sister station WXIA. Well, we've mentioned throughout our Fever coverage on WTHR just how much hype has been associated with this team ahead of the season. Now it's finally here. Not only that, but the additions this team has made has furthered that narrative. A key piece of that, Fever head coach Stephanie White entering the first year of her second stint as Fever head coach. A Hoosier through and through. Our Eli Gaines sat down with Coach White.
What was it like when you were approached about this job opportunity? What was going through your mind?
I mean, I think for me, it was a little bit surreal, the opportunity to come back home. And, you know, I didn't think that was going to happen. You know, I thought I'd finish my career somewhere else. And so a little bit surreal, but more than anything, just excitement. You know, there's a comfort zone for me here in Indiana. It's a, you know, this franchise is really a part of my DNA, from a player to assistant coach to head coach, and to be able to come back at this moment in the franchise's history and at this moment in women's basketball history means a lot to me.
I was going to say, so you put in all the work over the last few months, getting the roster put together, training camp, the off-season workouts. The season is here now. I can imagine you're pretty amped that it's here.
Yeah, of course. I mean, all excited, ready to go. We know that it's one step at a time, one day at a time. But this is a group that works incredibly hard. They are focused. They are driven. They want to be coached. They want to be challenged. And ultimately, our goal is to put ourselves in position to win every single day. But that starts right now in training camp, and that starts in how we do our work every day. And this group has been unbelievable to start.
Here's Clark. Wow! You bet! From beyond the logo!
You mentioned generational talent, Caitlin Clark. What's it been like working with her since taking over, and what does she bring to this, not only the league, but to the organization as well?
It's been great. I mean, obviously everyone can see how mature Caitlin is and how she handles, everything that she deals with, but she is one of the hardest workers I've ever been around. She's incredibly focused and detailed in how she approaches things. She's a perfectionist. She wants to get it right. She works with purpose in everything that she does, and of course you can see that translate on the floor. She's a competitor. She wants to win. She has the fire. She has that competitive spirit, but she's also very self-aware. And to have the combination of those things, really leading our franchise, we're in a great place. And for me to be around her every day and to pick her brain and to talk basketball, to hopefully for myself and our staff to help navigate some of the things that she has to navigate and be a resource for her, that's important to us.
You see it plastered all over here on Media Day, the slogan, "Now you know." What's the meaning behind that, and what do you want to bring to that?
I look at it as, now, if you didn't know about the WNBA, if you didn't know about the Indiana Fever, now you do. And I look at it more as a holistic of our league, right? I know that we might be considered America's team, but our league, like, now you know about us, right? And now you know that we as a franchise are here to compete. We want to get back to the pinnacle. It's not going to be easy because every franchise wants to get to the pinnacle. There's a lot of player movement, so everybody looks different. Everybody's fighting for championships. There are so many things that are involved in winning a championship, and we haven't done anything yet. And we have a lot to go out and to earn every single day. But to me, now you know just means you know about our league, you know about this franchise, and certainly the respect that this league has deserved for a long time.
And you can imagine that sort of puts a target on the back too, kind of the being hunted type deal, but you also want to be a hunter in the same sense. Do you embrace that role, welcome it?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure if we're the hunted. We haven't done anything, right? Like, we haven't won. But pressure is a privilege. And I think everybody who plays this game, everybody who coaches this game wants to be in position to win. It's ultimately not always about winning and losing, right? Especially in the month of May. Like, we want to position ourselves to get better. We want to position ourselves to be playing our best basketball in September. We have half of our roster is brand new, so putting that together and building our combinations, building our depth in our roster, that's our job as coaches. Who can play well together? What different looks can we give opponents? How can we stay on the cutting edge of keeping ourselves and giving ourselves an advantage? But I don't look at us as the hunted because we haven't done anything. We've got to be the hunter every single day.
Makes you want to run through a brick wall right there. Really good stuff by Eli Gain. The Fever, they're no doubt lucky to be having Stephanie White back in charge. I promise you, that's just the tip of the iceberg for what we have in store for you tonight. Coming up, we sit down with Caitlin Clark as she enters year 2 in the W and break down all the newcomers to the Indiana Fever, translating to heightened expectations. That is coming up when we return. Welcome back to our Indiana Fever pregame special ahead of tonight's matchup with the Atlanta Dream. When you have a core of players like Caitlin Clark, Aaliyah Boston, and Kelsey Mitchell, the goal becomes building around them. The Fever did that and then some this offseason. Let's reset the offseason moves here. Priority 1, re-signing Kelsey Mitchell. Check. Then came the blockbuster trade, shipping Alyssa Smith out of town and welcoming in Sophie Cunningham. Then adding veteran, winning experience, Natasha Howard, Dewana Bonner, Sydney Colson. Come on down. Now all of a sudden, this team looks the part of one that wants to contend for championships, not a team that's just happy to be here. It's why the hype level is so high surrounding this team this season. Along with all that new, a new general manager, and that would be Amber Cox. Our Eli Gaines sat down with her, detailing this new era of Fever basketball.
Now, you've been here, what, 6-7 months since taking over. Have you done anything big over those few months? What do you think?
A little busy.
A little busy?
You know?
Yeah. Very busy. You came in, you hit the ground running. We're talking free agency pickups, trades. What has that process just been like going through all of it at such a quick pace?
It really is. You know, coming in with Kelly Krauskopf coming back over to the Fever, really the architect of this franchise, bringing me into the fold, and then bringing Stephanie White back as our head coach. Really important first steps as we were thinking about, you know, how we wanted this roster to look going into the 2025 season. The core group of Kelsey Mitchell, Aaliyah Boston, Caitlin Clark, did such a great job on the back half of last year. You really saw the formation of a chemistry among those three, and you add in Alexi Hull, Damaris Dantas, who played on the back half of the year. We wanted to be complementary to that. And when you looked at the roster going into the playoffs last year, the one thing that was really missing was playoff experience. So that was really our focus, looking at our culture. You know, we knew that this group had really built some great chemistry, so we wanted to make sure that stayed intact. And then we were really thinking about who can we bring in that has experience deep into the playoffs. So we got really, really fortunate. Natasha Howard, right out of the gate, who the Fever drafted many years ago, has gone on to win 3 championships, Defensive Player of the Year. Dewana Bonner winning a couple of championships as well, the most tenured player in the league. She's a future Hall of Famer. And then Sydney Colson coming over from the Aces in a backup point guard role for us. Also very important. You know, she's been a role player for them, but in key moments stepped up when the Aces were winning a couple of championships. So really keyed in on that. And then a couple of key trades. Sophie Cunningham coming over in a trade, has been to the WNBA finals, has played with the likes of Diana Taurasi and others. So, you know, again, really thinking about experience, veterans who understand, want to win. And at the core of all of it, we really focused on players who love the game. They love to compete and they want to win a championship and are ready to come in here and do whatever it takes to do so.
The excitement is there, right? So we're all very optimistic of what this franchise can do. Overall, just the Fever brand, how do you want it to expand? Not only maybe the Indiana Fever, but the game of women's basketball is rising dramatically right now.
Yeah, it's such a wonderful thing. You know, I've been in this league for many, many years, and to see finally this movement that we're having around women's basketball, really with the Fever at the epicenter of all of that, it's so exciting to be a part of that. I'm excited for our fans. When you think about this fan base and the ownership, the Simons, who have been so dedicated to the Indiana Fever since day one, now being a part and really continuing to lead in terms of their commitment to the franchise. But yeah, we want to do it for the fans, right? Like, we love to fill Gainbridge Fieldhouse every single night. We love to see new fans coming in from out of state, out of country. So really continuing to expand the brand, not only here, you know, in Indiana, but well beyond in everything that we're doing, and continuing to be a leader for women's sports.
Such a treat to hear from Amber Cox, the architect of this new era of Fever basketball. So much to be excited about, but wait, there's even more, I promise you. Coming up next, we sit down with Caitlin Clark.
You certainly feel the impact, and I think I feel it the most when you're, you know, before the game signing autographs for young boys and young girls, and they're screaming, and it's like the best memory of their year, or they're celebrating a birthday, or they're with their friends. I think that's what kind of keeps it in perspective for myself.
The energy of women's sports, the new era of Fever basketball, we tackle it all with Caitlin Clark when we return. Caitlin Clark has taken the world by storm and backed it up and then some on the court. I had a chance to sit down with 22 ahead of the season. We're going into year 2. It's kind of crazy that it's finally here, but now you finally had some time to reflect on year 1. And when you look back at your first experience in the WNBA, your first year with the Fever, what comes to mind? What kind of takeaways, your perspective of how year 1 went for you?
Yeah, I think it went really well. I think our goal as a team was to get back to the playoffs, and that's certainly what we did. And I think kind of took a step in the right direction. And then now moving into year 2, it's, from here on out, we're trying to win championships. That's our goal. And I think we added a lot of really good pieces to that puzzle. Obviously bringing Steph White in, she's tremendous, and you can just feel the energy and the vibes, and just taking time to put all that together. And that's not going to be perfect on game 1, but it'll be a process for us. But I think having a year under my belt and understanding how the league works, the physicality of the league, the pace of the league, going from game to game, how the schedule works, having all of that under my belt and kind of knowing what to expect is going to be really helpful for me this year, and hopefully it can just get off running.
Going into last season, we saw the spotlight on women's sports, women's basketball. It was remarkable. Merchandise sales, selling out Gamebridge, just the spotlight in general. And you've said before that you weren't alone in bringing this to the table, but were you aware of your role in it? Did you expect that and your impact that you brought to Indianapolis, across the nation, and to the WNBA?
Yeah, well, I think last year was a little bit interesting because, I was in college and you're turning the page really fast. So I didn't know exactly how it would translate. Obviously, I expected it to translate on some level. The fans and the excitement, I could feel it before we ever played a game here in Gamebridge. But, I didn't know we were going to have sellouts on the road. We were going to sell out every game at home here. I just really didn't know. And then to do all of those things was absolutely tremendous. So, you certainly feel the impact. And I think I feel it the most when you're, before the game signing autographs for young boys and young girls, and they're screaming, and it's like the best memory of their year, or they're celebrating a birthday, or they're with their friends. I think that's what kind of keeps it in perspective for myself. So, I certainly see the impact that I've had, and, hopefully that continues, but also our team, people are going to find new players that they love on our team, on other teams, and I think especially this year, you can already see our fans really rallying around this group, and, whether it's been players that have put on a Fever jersey before, or if it's the new ones we've brought in, they're really excited to support all of us.
All right, so basketball season's finally here. You're going into year 2. The Fever were extremely busy this offseason. What was your reaction to the free agency ads, the trades, and now this roster is so deep and talented? We've been talking about it during training camp. That's got to excite you.
Oh yeah, it's super exciting, and you got to give a lot of credit to Kelly and Amber. They did a great job constructing this roster, but also, thankful for the free agents that decided they wanted to come here. They didn't have to come here. They could have gone many other places, but they, bought into the belief of really being able to win championships here, and having the fans being able to support them and playing in a city like Indianapolis, where, basketball is the thing in the state of Indiana. It's what people love. So just really excited for everybody that we've added, from, the vets, DB, Sid, Tosh, to, acquiring Sophie in a trade, whoever it is. We're only bringing back 5 players, so in a way it's a little new for us returners too, but I think just taking time to put all of it together, I think we have a really, really talented roster. It's just, coming together, and everybody, doing their role really, really well is what's going to make us successful.
With those moves come higher expectations, maybe from the outside. Leah said at training camp, our expectations haven't changed. And so you have this talented roster. You're coming off a great end to last season, pushing the Sun to the brink in the playoffs. Just a lot of good vibes around this team. What most excites you for this upcoming season, individually as a second-year player, and then for the Indiana Fever, goals for this season?
Man, I think as a team, obviously, we're trying to win championships now. That's the goal. I think everybody believes in that. We have people on our team that have done that, and I think that's kind of what we were missing last year. We didn't even really have any playoff experience, When we got there to Connecticut, not many people had really ever played in a playoff game. So, adding that experience to our team, I think is going to be very valuable for us through the course of the season, but also when we reach the playoffs. I think for myself, just having a year under my belt and knowing what to expect, and continue to have fun playing basketball in front of these great fans. And, as long as we win, I'm going to be happy. So just be the best leader I can be, knowing that I have a year under my belt. I know what to expect. I'm the point guard, so people are going to be expecting a lot from me. I need to, be there for my teammates, be an extension of Steph on the court, and just be a great leader and have a lot of fun doing it, because, the season goes fast, time flies, and, I can't believe we're already starting year 2.
It is so cool to see how the confidence, composure, and comfortability have just blossomed with Caitlin Clark heading into year 2. The Fever tonight, a chance at redemption after losing their first game against the Dream earlier on this week. We'll get into the 3 keys to winning on the road in Atlanta tonight, right after this break. We're continuing to get you set and ready for our matchup between the Indiana Fever and the Atlanta Dream. Here's your Fever Minute. 3 keys to victory tonight for the Indiana Fever. Number 1, defense and rebounding. 2 areas the Fever struggled on Tuesday against this very same Dream team in a 91-90 loss. Indiana's first of the season. Stephanie White said post-game it was like 5 individuals playing defense out there rather than team defense. The Fever also were out-rebounded in this game, and more specifically on the offensive glass, giving up 12-0 boards. Got to clean that up, close out possessions with a rebound. Number 2, get in the flow. It was a very disjointed game on Tuesday. A ton of stoppages, not many stops for the Fever, a lot of second chance opportunities for Atlanta. This prevented Indiana from getting out and running, which is what leads this team to success. Get in the flow early, get your transition offense going. You're going to be just fine. Number 3, spread the wealth. Caitlin Clark, Kelsey Mitchell, and Aaliyah Boston, they've been sensational this season. It's the Fever's big 3. In fact, those 3 had 75 points on Tuesday. The rest of the team, though, only had 15. Spread the wealth, get everyone going, and I have a good feeling you're going to end up in the win column tonight. The Fever tip off in just a few minutes. We'll get another live look inside State Farm Arena as this team fights for redemption against the Dream. We're back in just 2 minutes. Stay with us. We're mere minutes to tip off in Atlanta with the Fever on the road for a rematch against the Dream twice in a week. They're familiar with one another, that's for sure. Here's a live look inside State Farm Arena. They're getting fired up. The team is getting warmed up, ready to rock. Looks like player introductions going on right now. Some housekeeping tonight. Sophie Cunningham is available for the Fever in this game tonight. Would be her first regular season action after some trouble with the right ankle there in the preseason. So that's a good sign for the length of this Fever lineup, especially the depth of that bench. We'll be with you after the game to wrap up the night, and we'll bring you all the highlights tonight on 13 News at 11. Thanks so much for joining us. See if the Fever can get it done against the Dream tonight.